Okay, I'm just jumping in super quick to say this is my non-spoiler review. There will be no spoilers to Avengers Endgame. We will not talk about the plot whatsoever. We will not spoil anything at all. We will just talk about everything in vague, very generic terms, direction, writing, acting, visual effects. So yeah, keep watching.
We will. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Avengers Endgame is directed by Joe and Anthony Russo, and it's the culmination of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Every single Marvel movie that has happened in the Marvel Universe will be in the MCU. It's pretty much you have to understand and appreciate this fully. You have to watch every single movie and understand and remember each supporting character, because each and every single one of them is terrific, important, and it calls back to, I want to say, nearly every single one, pretty much. So what happens in Avengers Endgame? I can tell you what happens at the end of Infinity War. Thanos snaps his fingers and half the Avengers die, leaving just, the original 6 Avengers plus War Machine and Rocket. Let's talk about the direction in Endgame. Anthony and Joe Russo had an impossible task ahead of them. Not only did they, direct the hell out of Winter Soldier, and then they went out with Civil War, proving themselves to be masters of the ensemble, they went out and did Infinity War, assembling one of the biggest and largest casts of all time, if not bigger than anything that we've ever seen before in film, and assembling that perfectly. And then they went and did Endgame. And Endgame is immaculate in terms of direction. It is absolutely fantastic. It achieves some things that it achieves is some stuff that Infinity War just simply couldn't do, and that was a better sense of pacing. You see, when Infinity War you had to cut between basically Thor's storyline, the Guardians storyline, everything on Titan, everything on Wakanda, and Thanos at the same time. You basically, for the first hour and a bit of the movie, you were dealing with roughly 5 different locations to jump between these main characters who in their own solo films were the protagonists, were the heroes, and now they have to team up with others, and you're basically looking at essentially 5 different story arcs going on at once, and with Thanos as the main character. When you look at Endgame, it does something much better in that, and it's got undoubtedly a much easier goal in the fact that, you've only got a cast of roughly 10 people, which is about half the amount of people in the airport fight scene in Civil War. But you've only got roughly I'm gonna guess, rounded up, say 10 people. And so you get a much more immaculate sense of pacing. This movie runtime is at about 3 hours and 2 minutes, I think. And not for one moment in the entirety of the over 3 hour runtime did it ever feel like it was over 3 hours long. It felt perfectly paced, immaculate. It didn't feel like it was rushing, it didn't feel like it was taking it too slow. It was just incredible pacing. And surely that's got to be a testament to the writing and editing at the same time, for it not to drag, for it to keep on going perfectly, to culminate 22 movies all into one, and for it to make sense and for you to not be confused. It was amazing. It's fantastic. Joe and Anthony Russo did a great job. Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. They did an incredible job with the writing. It was flat out fantastic. We'll go on to the performances. Everyone gives an extra layer. Every single character gets so much more developed. The development and character arcs in the Avengers Endgame is an incredible set of character arcs, because you can look at them in terms of the big scope of the MCU, going from Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man through all the way to Endgame, and Chris Evans from for Captain America to Endgame, and Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo and Paul Rudd and Scarlett Johansson and Jeremy Renner and Don Cheadle, Karen Gillan, Josh Brolin. You look at all of them and you can see their character arc. It is beyond fantastic, the way they develop and grow and change. But then you just look at Endgame, and Endgame is a work of art in the way that it uses its characters. How each character, from the moment, the get-go, they automatically have 10 times, they automatically added layers, because they are dealing with the events of Infinity War. And then the movie goes on, and they add layers and layers and layers and layers, and it gets increasingly more and more fantastic, to the point of which it's incredible. I can't go into specific of every single character, because I'd be here for ages talking about how amazing everyone's performance was. Paul Rudd, who normally gives, a very comedic performance in the Ant-Man movies, which is really the only performance that I want to talk about because he doesn't get a whole range of depth in terms of the Ant-Man movies. He doesn't really go into a much darker place. But there's a scene where there is like one scene in the film where I was just shocked at the intensity and how you fully got behind Paul Rudd as Scott Lang. Like his character, it's the darkest he's ever been as a character, and he was brilliant. He was fantastic. I just can't describe it beyond it being absolutely flat out fantastic. The visual effects in this film, stunning. Beyond a doubt, the best Marvel visual effects in a film. Like there are some shots where it's like, look at that. That is so much visual effects to the point where the only thing that might be real is the person's face. And you look at it and you go like, that's brilliant. I can tell it's visual effects, but that is brilliant. It's a little like an art critic going, yeah, I really like the colours. It truly says a lot about the meaning of the film. Obviously there's a lot of symbolism going on, and it's quite truly fantastic. I mean, look at the social commentary it's going. Gerard, look at the social commentary of this picture. It is fantastic. I mean, look at it, seriously. The action, impeccable, amazing, fantastic. I do not know, sitting on this movie for over a day, thinking about it, mulling it over in your head, I cannot think of a single thing that I didn't really like about the movie. I thought the way that it sets up the Marvel Universe going forward, fantastic. The way that it, appreciates the last 11 years of films, incredible. The way that it works as a film on its own, well, not really on its own, but the fourth in the franchise, to be the best one in the four of the franchise, outstanding. I might just need a little bit more time to sit on it before I can make this claim, but just put it in there. Avengers Endgame might very well be the best Marvel Cinematic Universe film. If you said, alright, we're ending the Marvel Cinematic Universe after this, I would have been, that's pretty good. The movie, when it gets dark and it needs you to feel emotions, you feel the emotions. This movie is heartfelt to its core. It understands what its characters are. It has a clear idea of what the story is. It absolutely appreciates all the films that have come before and everyone that has ever pitched anything into it. It is essentially what Richard Attenborough keeps saying in the first Jurassic Park.
Really spectacular, spared no expense.
No expense was spared here. Not even a cent, it's all on the screen. They threw everything into it. The score was incredible. The acting impeccable. The direction is what I might consider the best direction of the year, hands down. I just left speechless after this film. No one walking out, everyone was shocked and heartfelt. I haven't heard anyone say that it wasn't bad. I haven't heard anyone say that it was bad. Granted, I've stayed away from people's opinion, but from the opinions I've heard, of which is 3, it's really great. Did some moments feel a little bit pandering? Yeah, sure. But you know what? It was earned. It was there. Everything in this film is earned, is warranted, they keep finding ways to make it tougher for the characters. It's an absolutely brilliant film, and I have to wholeheartedly say that Avengers Endgame is most definitely platypus-tacular. Have you seen Avengers Endgame? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. Oh, and yeah, I know that I haven't really uploaded that much. I know you've only seen Dumbo and Fighting With My Family in the past month. But basically what I've got a bit of a backlog. I've got Shazam, I've got Pet Sematary, I've got Us, I've got Missing Link. I think I might have Agent Carter Season 2 coming out as well. And then of course I've got to start going through all the other Marvel Cinematic Universe films, of which I reviewed them, but I haven't edited them yet. So anyway, like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe and comment on Platypus, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Subscribe. So just be reminded of when I upload, subscribe. That'd be great.